Until recently, the history of the Hoffheinz family prior to 1751, when Jacob Hoffheinz came to America, was not clear. Due to the efforts of Doris Hoffhines Gleason, the town of Ewersbach, Germany, was identified as Jacob's hometown. My name is Donald Hoffhines of Richardson, Texas. Our friend Rudy Van Heineck from Holland made a trip to Ewersbach on our behalf. The program you're about to see is the result of his trip.
On this cloudy and a little bit misty and rainy day, we are looking from a middle-high mountain at the village of Ewersbach in western Germany. It is situated in the beautiful hilly Siegerland. This is a geographic name, where the hills, or if you want mountains, go up to 670 meters. It's over 2,000 feet. Avespach forms today, together with Rittershausen, Mandeln and Steinbrücken, the new municipality, Dietshulstal, with 6,000 citizens, one of the smaller communities of the Land Hessen, the state of Hessen, with 235,000 people. The village is more than 1,000 years old and has at the moment 3,000 citizens. About 250 years ago, Johann Jacob Hoffheinz lived here, but perhaps driven by one of the two very poor periods in the valley's history, he left for more chances to the United States of America. Hoffheinz here, spelled H-O-F-H-E-I-N-Z, your spelling of that name does not exist, sounds in German almost the same as your Hoffheinz, though we think that it is a phonetic translation. The Germans here pronounce your name, American name then, as Hoffhines. It will be funny to hear how you would spell that phonetic in the American language. In the meantime, we hear the beautiful bells of the 1,000-year-old Evangelische Margaretenkirche, the Evangelic Margaret Church, carried by the wind through the whole valley. Jeder Ort, each part of the municipality Dietshulstal, has its own evangelic church, 4 in total. There are 2 pfarrers, ministers, from whom Reverend Hans Engel is the chief. The members of the church community, there are 2,000 in Avespach, pay a fee to the church in height of 9% of their income tax. Reverend Hans Engel manages himself about 1 million Deutsche Marken, German marks, per year for salaries and maintenance service, which is at the moment $550,000 US. Das Pfarrhaus, the home of the minister, looks as a cozy place with the laundry drying in the clean air. The reverend's wife must be thinking, I wash it in God's water, then I also must dry it in God's wind. They are a really nice couple. Reverend Hans Engel, age 58, and his wife Inge Klotz, 49. They sit here before the door of their beautiful old house. In the door, a very nice piece of old handcraft of the foot washing. It says, Wie ich euch getan habt, Johannes 13, like I did to you, John 13. Reverend Engel has a big and overcrowded study and is so friendly to answer our questions and helps us searching in the unique old books of the church history. He is still not on duty at the moment because 2 weeks ago he had surgery on his right eye. He says, since 14 days, I am a little bit American, because the artificial retainer comes from California. In a separate little room of the big house is the old file from 1635 to 1874 in an unbelievable, simple, only 2 millimeters is 1/16 of an inch steel closet. Outstanding in pigskin leather covered books, every letter written by hand, word to be kept in a guarded historical museum. In 1874, the state started the civil registration and the churches stopped it from that moment. The books from before 1635 are destroyed during the 30 Years' War, when the cavalry of the enemy took the village, which name at that time was Ewersbach. They looted everything and burned down many things. While Reverend Hans Engel and I are going to make pictures of the church and the surroundings, Inge Engel and Maria are going to study the old books, searching the past of the Hoffheinz family.
Yes, I said to them, please go out of this room. We have to concentrate, and all that complicated cameras equipment makes us dizzy. I'll take a look in between in the church.
They hope to find something about Johann Jacob Hoffheinz, who arrived, like you told us, in 1751 in the US, and his two brothers Adam and Daniel, who came, like you said, 12 years later. In total, we spent 4.5 hours with the minister and his wife. We learned a lot. Out of the beautiful garden of the firehouse, you can mention very well that the 1,000-year-old church is several times partly changed and enlarged. Book number 2 tells in detail on that. The choir that you hear all the time in the background is the Ewersbacher Männergesangverein Heimatliebe, das alt-hessisch-deutsche Lieder singt. The men choir of the Ewersbach Country Love, singing old Hessen German songs. This 62-man choir visited in 1981 the United States of America. They were singing in New York, Philadelphia, Allentown, Washington, Undermore in the White House Garden, Buffalo, Syracuse, and New Hampshire. See paper 24.
Dahin, dahin, verlangt mein Seele, ich denke
It gives a little bit a strange feeling looking around here and sitting on these pews, thinking that perhaps Johann Jacob, your forefather, has sat down on the same spot. Im Namen des Vaters, des Sohns und des Heiligen Geistes. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
dahin, dahin, verlangt mein Seele, ich denke dein nach meine Tränen, mein Eltern
It is unbelievable if you hear how we got the long play record of this choir, which we shipped to you. It is sold out a long time already, because in 1980 there are only 1,000 pieces made. Inge Engel, who showed us the record of her own, could not change that. Copying on a cassette would be the only possibility. During that discussion rings the doorbell, and Mrs. Manderbach comes to return some books which she borrowed the last winter. We met, and hearing our wish, she said, "My husband is a member of that choir, and I have 2 of those records. I am going to give mine for the original price of 18 marks to Mrs. Engel." though she can do the same to you with her record. I said, boy, it's for sure that somewhere above us there is somebody doing very good to helm. It chills me. Inge wrote to you the next note on the inside cover of the record, which has number 19. Für Don und Sheaffer Hoffhines, Texas. Da Frau Manderbach diese Platte zweimal hat, schicken wir Ihnen diese musikalischen Gruß aus Ewersbach. Diese Platte ist leider nicht mehr im Handel, wegen sehr beschränkter Auflagen ausverkauft. Ewersbach, der 19. Juli 1988. Inge Engel, geboren Klotsch. For Don and Sheaffer, Hoffhines, Texas. As Mrs. Manderbach has this record 2 times, we send you these musical greetings from Avespach. To our regret, this record is not supplied anymore. It's sold out because of very limited issue. Avespach, July 19, 1988. Inge Engel, born Klotz. The father and his wife gave us also a cassette with the church bells and a piece of a radio program on the church from the Hessische Rundfunk, Radio Hessen. We will translate that later on. It has number 24. Bingo sounded over the valley, in German of course. Wir haben es. We ran to the farmhouse and yes, Inge and Maria had found Johann Jacob Hoffhein's birth document. The referent checks everything just to make sure.
We searched from 1710 until 1750, and we also tried a long time to find Adam and Daniel, but we guess that such will take at least 4.5 days instead of 4.5 hours. We were real lucky finding Jacob. The name Daniel, for example, is around 10 to 15 years later several times in the book, with the same name of the father, but different names for the mother in different years. A second marriage, we don't know yet. An extra difficulty is the complication because every minister had his own system and much of it is bad to read. Also is everything in the old German language.
Geboren 26. Mai 1729. Getauft 29. Johann Joost Hoffheinz, Ort Berg, und Maria Katharina, Eheleute, ein junger Sohn. Gevattern sind Johann Peter Oppermann, Johann Jakob Kunz, Anna Margareta Hoffheinzin, mit Magdalena Friedrichin, nicht zu lesen, Johann Jakob. Born May 26th, 1729, christened 29th. Johann Joost Hoffheinz, village Berg, and Maria Katrina, married couple, a young son. Witnesses are Johann Peter Oppermann, Johann Jakob Kunz, Anna Margareta Hoffheinzin, mit Magdalena Friedrichin. Unreadable. Johann Jakob. Johann Jakob Hoffheinz was born in Berg Ewersbach on May 26, 1729. Christened May 29, 1729. And registered in the church book of the Margaretan Church in Ewersbach.
As you can see, the parents of the young baby first wanted to call him Johann Peter Jacob, but they changed their minds and scratched Peter.
We laughed when I brought up the idea of the argument at that moment. But that is impressive if you realize that the young Johann Jacob listened to the same bells before he left for the New World, since At least one of them is from 1442. That is very unique, because during every war or fight, passing by troops used to pick church bells to make bullets out of it. On my request, the reference wife has brought a white table outside with the book on it. In the shade, of course. The sunlight would ruin the old pages. For nice pictures, a black scarf was laid under the book. I think she wears it in the Sunday service. Flash and photocopies were not allowed because the bright light. Bringing the book in the outside daylight was already a big exception. The book with the birth document of Johann Jacob covers the period between 1725 and 1756. The cover looked so beautiful that the reference said, "I think this is a new binded book," and he was right. The first page said, "Neu eingebunden 1807, new binded 1807. I said, "Well, what you call new?" Herr Pfarrer Hans Engel wrote the next letter in book number 2 to you. Herrn Don Hoffhines und Frau Schearer Hoffhines mit herzlichen Grüßen aus der Kirchengemeinde Ewersbach. Im folgenden Text sind einige Hinweise aus der 1000-jährigen Geschichte unserer Kirche, in die auch die Lebensgeschichte ihrer Vorväter hineingehört. Mit den besten Wünschen für Sie, THOH Engel Pfarrer, Ewersbach, 19. Juli 1988. Mr. Don Hoffhines and Mrs. Shearer Hoffhines, with warmest regards from the church community Avespach. In following text, you will find some information about the 1000-year-old history of our church, in which also belongs the life history of your forefathers. With our best regards for you, John Engel, Reverend, Avespach, July 19, 1988. As you see, they were so nice to invite us for a late lunch. Potatoes, mixed salad, the well-known German sausages, and for dessert, coffee and pie. This picture shows that Father Engel, what a good name, it is German for angel, who made the picture, was not used yet to his new American eye. This is the Oranienstraße, Orange Street at Ewersbach, the same street where the church is situated on, and which very old name has to do with the grateful memory of the people to the Orange-Nassau dynasty from Dillenburg, 7 miles from here, where William of Orange, called William the Silent, in the middle of 1500 was born. He was the Prince of Orange who liberated the Netherlands from the Spanish during the 80 Years' War. He is the founder of our royal house today. How about that? The sign here says Rentnersruhe, Retired People's Corner. When I took the picture, these men said both loud, "We are not," which I believed. We have to visit the town hall for more official information on Ewersbach, the family Hoffhines, and so on. Here, at the left side, the coat of arms, coat armor, heraldic weapon, or whatever you call it, from das Land Hessen, the state of Hessen. The other coat armor is from Ewersbach. It was already registered in the 16th century. It is a wild boar walking over a brook. Also, Boerbroek, which is Avespach in American. See also the stickers number 25. We had a very long talk with Herr Erhard Scholl, chief of the municipality administration of the Dietshulstal, where Ewersbach belongs to. He had short time because of an important meeting of that night. But during the visit, he got so involved that he took all the time we needed. He gave us many brochures, cards, maps and so on to send to you. Also, we could buy from the government for only 32 marks a beautiful 200-page book, which we gave number 1, handling the history of Avespach, with many old pictures and amusing stories. Mr. Scholl is the author, and you will not be surprised that he knew all the answers of our questions. Last but not least,